It's our turn to get recycled.
My name is Brianne Whiteknife. I'm a student at the University of Alberta, and I am in the Community Service Learning Program as part of an environmental sociology course. I've been working with the Regional Environmental Action Committee on gathering information for their plastics remanufacture project. I will be sharing some highlights taken from the full-length interview, which can be found on our REAC YouTube channel.
Founding members, Dow, as well as Nova Chemicals, that are still part of our membership and part of our board of directors today. And they basically started the association as a way to help provide stewardship opportunities for plastics and really help divert plastics from landfill and help facilitate recycling opportunities. So through the 30 years of the association, we've gained a number of members in the sector who are resin producers, manufacturers in the plastic sector, as well as recyclers.
When did you, as a professional, realize that we need to transform the way we manage plastics?
The key role that all of those groups play in coming up with solutions. And so, it's just really important and really critical that we have individuals at the table from all of those different organizations to help us find better solutions, be better at reducing the waste in the first place, have a full circle or start to develop that demand for recycled content so that we can move items through the system more quickly. So it's becoming, I guess, more of a pop culture kind of concern and topic. Plastics are fibers from our clothes and microbeads and things used in cosmetics that have been banned for the last few years, but still it's things that we sort of take for granted that we don't realize when we wash things down the drain that there's consequences and there's plastics that we're potentially polluting into the environment. There's certainly thousands of other types of plastics and combinations of chemical makeup of those plastics that we do often come across, but 1 to 7 is kind of our primary focus. Full Circle is able to take quite a variety of materials. They're actually able to take some of the lower value plastics. Some of their plastics include used oil containers that have like an oil residue with them, and they can process that because of how they're extruding their boards and how they're manufacturing their items. It just melts down into the lumber, and so they're able to handle some of that contamination. But we typically only see solutions for sort of the materials that are higher value in the market. If people are going to have to pay or there's going to be a cost to recycle, that does hinder some of the efforts that are of what's actually recycled.
As the executive director of the APRA, what is the most important public message about plastic?
Understanding the differences of plastic and really taking the time to learn what's accepted in your municipality or your region for recycling, and then participate accordingly. So we kind of call it wish cycling when materials are thrown into the recycle bin because we hope that they are recyclable, but that really mixes up the recycling systems, the machinery, and the sorting process. The public does have a role. You play an important role in the collection of that plastic recycling. You need to pay attention and look into how you can ensure you're providing the right materials back into the system.
Where do you recommend we start our research?
The province is starting to engage on what's called extended producer responsibility, where it would become a province-wide system. And in that case, ideally, if we follow what's happened in other provinces, you'd be able to recycle the same materials, whether you're in Calgary, whether you're at your cottage in the mountains or wherever you are, that there's a consistency across the system. So that would definitely help create less confusion for people if they're trying to figure out what is collected for recycling in their region.
What can we expect from the APRA moving forward, and what are some challenges in moving forward?
We need to sort of start with the end in mind, look at how we design plastics in the first place, and then ensure that we have markets and places for those materials to go to be processed and to be remanufactured into new items. So that's, for sure, I guess one of the most exciting opportunities, but it will also be a challenge, because if you think of all the different players around the table and how things have been done in the last well, forever, right? You're changing an entire system. So there will definitely be challenges in how that's done.
Where in Canada do you think has the strongest sort of plastics processing that's environmentally friendly?
BC has had extended producer responsibility for a few years now. And so they've really, because of that, they've been able to put in, develop economies of scale and put in some really great infrastructure. So they have some really cool infrastructure, like such as optical sorters. So I mentioned that there's thousands of types of plastics, and sometimes you can't even tell just from looking at it what type of plastic it is. So they have these optical sorters that the technology enables them to shoot lasers onto the plastic, and then air then shoots or separates the plastic into the source separated into the right container. So there's things like that where when you get producers involved and you get some of that investment back into the system, you can purchase some of those technologies that are normally quite expensive or cost prohibitive, like to Alberta municipalities. They wouldn't likely be able to afford a system like that just on their own. So when you build a provincial system, you have some of those efficiencies, and you're able to really expand and grow your infrastructure.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this interview with Tammy Schwass. For more info, check out our full interviews. Thanks again for watching, and take care.